Welcome to a very special MacGuffin podcast. I am joined by frequent friend of the show, Laremy.
I need either like a catchphrase or like a thing. Like,
we need to work on that.
Yeah.
If anyone has that, send it in and let us know. Laremy,
Sprinkler.
You may know from his television appearances, his radio appearances,
multimedia.
or most notably, film.com.
I also
which
work
is his
for the
domain.
Duck. I tour. I did the Duck
That's
tour.
good, yeah.
Yeah. No, film.com, Hollywood.com. I do box office predictions for Rope of Silicon.
Yeah, Rope of Silicon, great site.
If you've got a .com, I'm probably writing on it.
Yeah. Or if it's anything film related, he's probably going to pop up and let you know.
I have some unfounded opinion.
Yeah. If you say something in a movie theater, he's going to be the guy next to you going like, that's not true.
No, that's false. That's
So,
a lie. Speaking of false lies.
Yes, speaking of false lies, we're actually talking about true stories today.
True story.
There seems to be a flood of them coming out right now.
Yeah, and they're very awardy. They're very Oscar-y.
It's a good, easy way to get that Oscar bait out there.
Based on a true story is compelling. People like hearing that and seeing that.
So we're going to get in-depth on that. As always, enjoy the show and let us know at MacGuffinPodcast.com what you think. So sit back, get your popcorn, and watch a little truth or fiction.
I broke through the carbonate, that's how I got free. Jabba back off because there's no stopping me. Postmodern player, sample-tastic, flows ekphrastic. I get drastic, hey watch the plastic. Yo, I name check and leave you drastic.
So in honor of Conviction, Secretariat, 127 Hours, which is coming out, Social Network, we're talking films based on a true story.
The Fighter.
The Fighter.
Yep.
There's so many these days. It's kind of like
it's the thing to do.
It's the thing to do besides remakes. It's remakes or based on a true story. No original ideas anymore.
Original ideas are hard.
It's something that they've done since, gosh, 80 some odd years. We're just looking, and the oldest one that we could find that was on film was Battleship Potemkin.
A classic.
A classic.
Classic film.
So that's, I mean, I guess 90 years.
Yeah, 1920.
1925.
Yeah.
So about 90 years at this point. Going back a long time. We're going to talk about some of the things about based on a true story we find interesting, some of the films that are based on a true story we find interesting. So why don't we begin with the ones that are coming out now?
Yeah.
We just had Conviction come out this Friday.
Yeah.
You know, courtroom dramas, not exactly anything new in the world of based on a true story.
Yeah, I think more than the courtroom aspect was the melodramatic aspect, us against the world kind of feel. I thought it was a good movie. I think, you know, anytime you get Hilary Swank and Sam Rockwell involved, you're probably get something good.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's definitely that element of, okay, you know where this is headed, how this is going to go.
I mean, I think you're right. The thing that stands out most notably to me when I saw that film was, like, there are two Hilary Swanks, you know. There's Hilary Swank, like Oscar caliber
$1 Million
one, and then there's
Baby, Boys Don't
exactly,
Cry.
and then there's like the next Karate Kid, Hilary Swank,
which is the true one.
Yes, the films are so bad that like
you don't count them.
You can't even believe it's the same actress. Like, was it The Core too? Like, there's so many like just.
Oh, The Reaping was her too, right?
Yes, The Reaping.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many bad films, and yeah, the performances are definitely what makes the film, but at the end of the day, it's like, I think The Hurricane, the second I saw the trailer for that movie, it's sort of like, oh, okay, you know, wrongly imprisoned, how are we going to get this guy out? Okay.
Yeah. I tell you, the film that did it the craziest was definitely Murder in the First, right? The Kevin Bacon, you know, they've just got him down in a hole for an hour and a half of the running time. Yeah. So that was a way more interesting take on that.
I mean, I guess the other interesting thing, though, you got to say about Conviction is it sort of flips the coin on it, and usually the film is from the perspective of the person in jail.
True.
Because, I mean, Hurricane is from guy in jail, Murder in the First, guy in jail. This one's really about the person outside trying to help the person in jail, which is, I mean, I guess somewhat of a unique twist to the story.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole thing about her having to become a lawyer is definitely innovative.
Oh, I mean, it's innovative in the sense that it really happened.
The one thing, dude, how spoiler are we going to get?
I mean, I don't know how much it can really spoil
for the next
film.
15 seconds, I will spoil Conviction. The fact
for those of you who can't tell clearly what it's about.
Well, the thing they never mention, though, is what happens after that story ends. And I feel like that's a massive big deal. Yeah, like, I feel like that movie should have been about that almost.
Well, well, I mean, they don't even reference that in, like, postscripts or anything. Like,
no.
I mean, and I think they actually tested that, or they're going to test that in the studio, found out that people just couldn't.
Got really upset about it.
Yeah,
and,
like.
Well, they, before, because I interviewed her, and they're like,
yeah, we did
just
too.
so you know, the guy dies. I'm like, okay, I wasn't gonna ask that, and I do my research. Thank you.
But like, it totally takes the thunder out of the thing where she spends 20 years to help this guy get out, and he immediately dies right after getting out. So, I mean, it was a total dumb accident too.
Did you interview Juliette Lewis too?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fun, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So okay, we got that one. Conviction, you know, really sort of.
Secretariat is actually pretty good. I mean, in terms of the truthiness factor.
You know, the problem
I give
was
credit, but it's melodramatic.
The problem with Secretariat to me is I saw Seabiscuit like 4 years ago, and I can't really get on board with another horse movie that's melodramatic. Like, I feel like Seabiscuit had all the sort of elements to, like, you could want, like, the crippled kid, like the father whose son dies, like the broken, like, jobless.
I think they should have gone... They should have actually focused more on the horse and the supernatural, freaky speed of the horse, and less on the underdog story, because Secretariat wasn't an underdog. Secretariat was an overdog.
Especially when he won, like, was it the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness or something by, like, 37 lengths?
He won the Belmont by, like, 20 or 31 lengths. I mean, so why not focus on... I would have gone more like the natural style.
I mean, it's not only that, but, like... Seabiscuit actually gets like crippled in the movie and then comes back.
Seabiscuit was an underdog.
And he was a small horse. Nobody believed in him. Secretariat, like, he won the Triple Crown. Like,
he was really fast.
If you're in the Triple Crown, you got to be a pretty good horse to begin with. You know, you're not some schlub off the street. They're like, okay.
I thought Diane Lane was good. I see where people's complaints about that movie come from.
I don't see like anything about it that's more engaging than anything Seabiscuit already had. You know, Jeff Bridges, great actor.
Seabiscuit got like 10 nominations though. Like some ridiculous that didn't win anything.
I mean, that might be a little bit too much in retrospect. But
what were we thinking with that one?
But like, there were a lot of good actors in it. The story was interesting. I don't know how authentic it is. I think it's fairly accurate.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
So okay, the other one, Social Network.
Yeah.
An interesting
Probably the least
case.
accurate.
Well, I mean, I guess that's sort of one of the things we want to talk about is that it's based on a true story, but based on a true story is sort of an element of perspective. Like, it's from the perspective of the people who were screwed by Mark Zuckerberg. Like, so is it true in the sense that like that happened? I don't know, or is it true in the sense that that's how they vilified Mark Zuckerberg in their memory?
I mean, and what Sorkin and Fincher chose to focus on that was true wasn't necessarily the whole truth or the balanced truth. Or the one that really annoys me about Social Network is the sexism claim. I don't know if you saw I wrote
Yes,
an article,
I did.
And it's just such a silly argument. The movie is not sexist. It's not setting back women. It's not pro-man. It's anti-everyone, almost.
In fact, like, I barely even remembered there being any women in that movie. But...
Yeah, which, I mean, that's what the story is about, these guys. It just happened to be about these guys. It's not, it wasn't, you know, it was gender neutral, if anything. But I think with that one, when you see Zuckerberg talk and you see kind of his side of the story, you kind of think, man, what a bummer it would be just to have a movie, like a hit piece made on you.
Well, I mean, the thing that's interesting to me about that film is that they actually created fictional characters to make him, or Timberlake's character in the movie was fictional, or, I mean, fictionally put into the story.
Well, no, Sean Parker had part of Facebook.
But I mean,
not in that manner, I don't
think.
Yeah,
exactly. It wasn't in that manner, and they made that character sort of
the
that way
of it's a little different.
to be more sympathetic towards Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it really would have been just like you're an throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
So
I think the two things they were dealing with is A, the creation of Facebook isn't all that interesting, and B, it's hard to get people to relate to kids in Harvard. Like, so they did a good job making them human characters, because it would have been pretty easy to be like, what a bunch of rich kids.
That's the problem though. I mean, I don't even know if they really made them human characters, because like I came out of that film and I was just like, wow, there's nobody really likable in this movie. Like they're all just, except I guess maybe Eduardo. I felt kind of bad for him, but he was
just bad at business.
Yeah,
right? He was just not good at.
He was just bad at business, but like the rest of them, I felt like they're all just bad people.
Did you see Client 9? That's a documentary, so
no, I'm not.
But your comment, I walked out of that one going, boy, I hate everyone involved in this film. Like, I really just dislike everybody. But I guess we could both say that the Reznor score was very good about Social Network. The score made it feel really, really important.
I mean, I think it's a very interesting story. I think it's very compelling, but
it looks like it's gonna get a Best Picture.
But like, I don't like any of those people are in it. Like, it's just like, wow, you're all really like awful people.
Finally, an uninspiring true story.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a different way to go.
And then 127 hours.
Yes.
So,
which is the next film after Slum.
Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle,
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog
James
Millionaire.
Franco. It's a true story based on hiker Aaron Ralston.
Who got-
Whoa. Too spoiler already. I will say I'm not allowed to officially talk about this film, but one of my good friends reviewed it and gave it an A+, and he's a very smart fellow.
Well, there you have it.
So-
I mean, and Danny Boyle's a great filmmaker.
Oh,
I
he
like
really
I like
is.
James Franco as an actor.
I think Franco's super underrated at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
Good in 30 Rock,
It's-
good in Howl.
yeah. It's
Howl's
got
another true story this year. The Ginsburg trial.
Oh, yeah.
It's the censorship trials in the 50s about his
I mean,
poetry.
as we said though, like, you know, everything now is basically a remake or a true story.
Yeah.
They don't really have any original ideas. Since we got all those ones that are current, why don't we throw some of the older ones that we
There's a couple.
enjoy?
There's a couple out there.
Oh, there's so many. It's hard to name. Like, there's certain genres that seem much more prone to them. For instance, sports.
Oh, yeah.
Sports. Like, I love a lot of those movies. I gotta admit it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Rudy. Rudy is
Even
such-
though Rudy's like totally fabricated.
well, I mean that all is all sort of an element of perspective again too, because like Joe Montana just came out and said like Rudy was just total nonsense. That's not how it happened. But then another person on that same team at Notre Dame came out and was like,
Well, here's-
Joe Montana was completely inaccurate. We didn't think of him as a joke.
the main problem with Rudy is that the janitor is not a real character.
Yeah.
That's a made-up Hollywood. You go get him, you know,
Yeah.
kind of. And it's like, if that dude didn't exist, I mean, he is such a huge part of the movie.
It's a huge part of the movie.
But
I
yeah.
mean, just the concept. Rudy is sort of like, I don't know if I want to say the ultimate sort of underdog, but like that's like he's one of the quintessential ones, if not the.
What about Miracle? I feel like Miracle's a really well done.
Miracle is a great one.
That gets me every time. Kurt Russell.
I
his coach.
think the thing about Miracle that I have less time engaging with than Rudy is that Rudy is an individual. I can
Yeah.
really latch on to one person
Whereas
in
the
Rudy.
team
where it's a
aspect
team.
of-
Like, I mean, there's so many people and they have so many different parts to it. It's sort of like the USA team in general is what you have to really latch on to.
Yeah.
Whereas Rudy, you can really you can witness like this one guy's.
There's
sort of-
probably something to be said too, in that you going into Rudy didn't know about Rudy.
True.
Going into Miracle,
right.
everyone
yeah,
knows about
exactly.
Miracle.
You're
on
absolutely
Ice.
right. Yeah. It's-
So you'd like to be surprised, which is probably why Seabiscuit was better for you than
yeah.
Secretariat.
No,
But
totally. You're absolutely right.
Hoosiers was a huge lie on a lot of levels,
Yes,
right?
but
Yeah,
I mean
it was a good
that's
story,
based on a true story.
Yeah.
I mean there was in fact an Indiana basketball team
Sure.
from nowhere
Yeah.
who came and won this
Yeah.
title, but like pretty much everything else has been Hollywoodized. You know, Raging Bull. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of that is true,
and
how
not
much
true,
of that
yeah.
is just fiction, but it is based on an actual boxer. I mean,
Yeah, like the fighter coming up.
Yeah.
I like Raging Bull. I think he doesn't do a lot of things that you could even verify were true or not true.
Right.
A lot of
Oh,
it's
totally.
stylistic choices,
Oh,
which
totally,
is pretty
yeah.
smart.
I mean-
Unlike another guy on our list, Oliver Stone, who throws out.
I mean, he is one
kitchen
who
sink at truth.
loves like he goes two ways. He either goes like fully on the true stories, or he totally goes off. Like he was it
Platoon.
Alexander?
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I mean, he really like dives in, and of course it's Oliver Stone truth. Like so you take
JFK,
the
like you could show anyone JFK who didn't know anything, and they'd be like, "Wow, this is crazy." And then you start digging, and you're like, "Well, that's not true." That's
I
not
mean,
true."
he makes a very compelling based on a true story.
Yeah.
But again, it's not really exactly.
Well, his
true.
characterization of Nixon is, a little more sympathetic than you would think.
Yeah.
Especially coming from the source.
Right, totally. And I guess W, we forgot all about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
it's
W was totally like, from my perspective, missing the point.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been technically true, but not the thing. Not the story to tell.
But like, I mean, needless to say, it's again that very subjective truth that is prone. I mean, another one, war films. I mean, we got Pearl Harbor,
Glory.
Glory, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah,
I was
Black
just thinking
Hawk
we were
Down
talking
is
about Braveheart.
Yeah,
I mean,
Braveheart, the oldest war story.
Of course, Braveheart probably the most
Egregiously
less than
untrue.
true. Yeah. But I mean, again, that's probably the hardest to prove what is true and what
In
is
their
false.
defense, that they put right up front that the people who say the truth are the liars, right?
Yes.
Those are the guys who won.
Yes.
So, but yeah, evidently they moved around like entire times of period in Braveheart.
I mean, and then we also should talk about like Pearl Harbor in the sense that it's based around a true event, but it's fictional characters.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Pearl Harbor actually occurred, but like
And it's just really bad.
Ben Affleck's character didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like they're
Which is weird, because why not tell a true story based around Pearl Harbor? There's, thousands of them.
Because they want that love story where this guy, they want someone who is involved in all the parts. The Doolittle
The truth
raids.
wasn't good enough for them.
Well, I'm sure nobody from, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure nobody from Pearl Harbor was involved in the Doolittle raids that occurred after, where we actually bombed, China and stuff or Japan. But they wanted that sort of carryover, and they wanted that love triangle. And I don't know if they could have found one in reality, but. One interesting one that's war related but not war itself is The Great Escape.
Oh yeah.
Classic film.
Wasn't Victory also a true story?
I don't know.
I think Victory was a true story. Go ahead.
But The Great Escape, again, it's based on a true story about these prisoners breaking out of a Nazi war camp. But the characters like Steve McQueen was a whole bunch of people in reality who were combined into one character.
Composite, yeah.
So
which they tend to do.
Yes.
That is the job one in a true story, is to take 4 people and make them one, so they're more sympathetic or more interesting.
But the topic of composites is one that I think comes up with another genre a lot, horror films. Horror films like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
Technically, they claim it's based on a true story, and part of that's just to draw people in.
Yeah.
And part of it is true, but it's not anything that actually occurred in the film. They're like completely other stories which they combined together and then
they're like 5% true.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The based on a true story is 5%.
But it's a very common theme, and The Exorcist.
Yep.
Probably a little bit of it is true, but
like the ceremony itself is like technically kind of true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is such a thing as
Her
exorcism.
Head didn't spin necessarily.
She probably didn't vomit pea soup or whatever.
Yeah.
Amityville Horror. It's true based upon the book.
Oh, Exorcism of Emily Rose was another one that was supposed to be true, right?
Oh my God, that will ruin what's her name for me? Jennifer Carpenter.
Who was? Yeah.
Like every time I watch Dexter now, I think Jennifer Carpenter, doing the spazzy, twitchy stuff, and I'm just like, it ruined her. Like she did it very well. She did a very exorcist person very well, but. Yeah, it's basically true. Amityville Horror, it's true to the book it was based on, but the book has basically been proved to be a lie, more or less.
So it's a true lie.
So yes, exactly. Yeah, it's true fiction. Whatever you want to take that as.
Well, because Paranormal Activity, the sequel, consequential.
Yeah,
it happens during the same period.
It occurs at the same time, so we're creating our own term for it now.
Concurrent qual. That's what we came up. That was the good one we came up with. What part of that was true? It was just the things happen at someone's house every once in a while,
they claim, they pretend like, oh, we found this footage and we made a movie of it. Same as the Blair Witch Project. So it's sort of that it's completely a lie, but they claim it's based on a true story,
which is nice.
Which it kind of makes it more complicated when you look at this stuff then, and you don't know what's true and what's fiction when they can just flat out lie and say something's based on a true story.
The true part is that sometimes people think their house is haunted. And sometimes you hear a noise and you don't know what it is.
Yes.
Those are true.
Yeah. Well, the Blair Witch Project, what is true about the Blair Witch Project?
That people got a camera and went out and made a film.
Yes.
That part.
It is a film. Yeah. They actually did make a film out of that.
Those are all humans. Yes. There's no CGI.
But there are some true stories. Like one somewhat underrated one, which I think was well done, was Dahmer, starring Jeremy Renner.
I don't think I saw Dahmer.
It was Jeremy Renner before The Hurt Locker, before all that stuff.
And he's eating people.
He's killing people and he's eating them. I don't know how gory I remember it being, but Jeremy Renner
is he good?
A great actor. Yeah. He was phenomenal. I'm trying to remember, he was nominated for some awards for that role because he did so well. But Jeffrey Dahmer is a true story.
Yep.
Did kill a whole bunch of people, did eat them. It's stranger than reality, but and that's probably that's part of the composite that created Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
So there is some truth.
Which was based on Manhunt and based on all the FBI profile.
Exactly. So it's again a very loose thing. Let's see what other ones were good that we wanted to mention. Almost Famous.
I think that one. The band obviously isn't real. It's
right.
They say it's the Eagles or the Clarence Corrado Revival. There's a couple bands that are rumored to be that, but awesome.
But
it's
inspired by Cameron Crowe's own experiences as a teenager writing for Rolling Stone.
So it's probably as close to the truth as you're going to get on a lot of these dramatizations.
Well,
and Penny Lane was kind of a true person.
It's interesting. That's one unique thing. I don't know how much we can really talk about this list, but people who were involved in the events being involved in the production.
It's good, yeah.
Conviction.
Yep.
Obviously, Betty Ann Waters was involved with. Aaron Brockovich, she was involved with.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, beyond that, it's sort of Zuckerberg was not involved with The Social Network.
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Is it going to be based on someone who's not participating, or is it someone who's actually trying to tell their story? And you're going to get a different tone, obviously.
I mean, I feel like you can get a lot more detail with something like that as opposed to something like The Perfect Storm, which we talked about, which is, I mean, the wave occurred, the boat was actually there, people were on the boat.
People died.
But everything that occurred on the boat, who knows what happened?
Dramatized,
I mean, we have no idea if any of that occurred or if it was all just fabricated.
I do know that Clooney looks out and says she's not going to let us go. I know that part's true.
I wonder how they even know that. Did he say that on the radio or something?
No, I just made that up. See how easy that is?
I believed, you said you were thorough. I was like,
maybe are gullible.
We are. It's totally true. We are gullible.
Yeah.
And that's something like, I feel like we want to believe stories too.
You go in wanting to think it's true.
Yeah.
And it's more powerful. It's true, right? Like that based on a true story.
Totally.
It's like, wow, this resonates. This isn't Tron, for instance.
Right.
This is a true story.
And I mean, even things that we know are going to occur are still engaging then, like Titanic.
What about To Kill a Mockingbird? Great true story. Yeah, seriously. That's based on the Scopes monkey trial.
I'll take your word for it.
It is. That's a true story.
I'll buy it again. I'm gullible. Yeah. But like, Titanic, frame one, what's going to happen in that story.
Well, he's going to go like that.
Yes.
Go, I'm king of the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else?
That one
the boat
annoys
sinks?
me. That's another annoying one because there were survivors. There were survivor tales, and they chose to tell instead Winslet and DiCaprio love story, which probably didn't happen.
No, I'm sure.
And people of classes didn't mix, and you don't win on a poker game.
No.
And so that one kind of annoyed me.
No, but the point is, people bought into it even though it was fiction. Just to enjoy the story. They wanted to believe something like that could be true. I mean, obviously, I think most people would understand if they consciously talked about it that it was fake, but they don't just sit around going like that's a complete bull story right there.
Well, it brings the impact of that event. It makes it, it humanizes it.
Yeah.
So give them credit for that.
Right.
And it's something that, you then say, well, if I was on that boat, what would I do? And, so it's interesting on that level.
Every man for themselves.
Is that you? Yeah. You're like, get off the boat. Or get off
Women
the
and children, I'm Billy Zane if that boat's going down. I'm like, screw women and children. I'm taking this life raft.
The big argument about that movie is always, why couldn't she let him on the piece of wood, too?
Oh, she totally could.
Because there's plenty of room.
Yeah,
it was like the thing they delivered Cleopatra on. I mean, it was a big...
Oh, no, she totally could have, but yeah.
It was a big...
He's a gentleman,
So freeze to death.
So...
The best line is that I'm going to write a very strongly worded letter to the White Star Corporation. I thought that was a pretty money line when you're freezing to death. Yeah. What about Buried? That's another one that's technically based on a true story.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's a creepy true story to believe in.
Yeah, that's one you don't want to necessarily think is true.
For me, two ones that I want to note are Goodfellas.
Yeah.
An amazing true story, and Henry Hill. I mean, the guy who the story is centered around was involved in the production of the movie. So you probably got as much inside like a mob movie as something as you can get. I mean, Donnie Brasco, maybe another one, but like I would say Henry Hill and the Ray Liotta character in the movie was probably about as involved in the mob as somebody coming out. As
he was connected.
Yeah, he was connected.
As opposed to something like Sleepers, where everything has been changed so that you don't know where the truth is and where it's just this guy's opinion.
I mean, Donnie Brasco, where you're pretty low down on the chain, or Find Me Guilty, the same sort of thing with Vin Diesel's character.
Yeah, you can get a foot soldier.
Exactly.
But
getting somebody like way up in there is a pretty unique thing. So that one, and it's a great movie too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got some great performances across the board there.
Oh, yeah.
So. And Scorsese's an amazing director.
He's decent if you're into that.
If you like that kind of stuff, you go that way. And
he should have won an Oscar a little before Departed. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yes. And the other one I'm a big fan of is October Sky.
Okay.
I mean, again, I will say the thing that I like most about October Sky is it is one of the unique films that doesn't have a villain, but is still really engaging.
I like those too.
Like usually you have to have some evil guy that you play off of, and really the only evil thing is sort of like the expectations of the town, you know, society on these kids. And it's just an amazing true story because these kids actually did break out of this town. One of them became like, was it a NASA engineer
yep.
and all this sort of stuff. I mean,
yeah, it's nice when there's no composite villain, because I mean that's just annoying.
And I think they were actually involved in that story too, which helps make it feel more authentic to what occurred.
I will say I think that's something 127 Hours has going for it, is that it's a man versus nature.
He is alive to tell the story. So
allegedly,
he might have died. I can't say
I make
for sure.
no claims either way.
Yeah.
You've also got Amadeus on your list.
Amadeus,
big fun. That's an early one.
Yep. Untouchables.
We were saying if you want to go way back, Passion of the Christ. Go way back. 10,000 BC. If you want to go back before that.
Yes. And we were also going to mention future true stories like 2012.
That's happening.
I mean,
that's a given. Independence Day is going to happen.
Or is it Skyline now?
Skyline, yeah.
Or Independence Day. It's really the same film. Just
War of the Worlds, probably true.
Tom Cruise. Battlefield Earth. They would not lie to us. I guess let us know what your favorite true stories are.
Don't say Usual Suspects, because we know that's not true.
That is true. Kaiser Soze totally is downstairs right now. You better watch your back. Or maybe I'm Kaiser Soze. You never know. That's the beautiful thing.
The lawyer was Kaiser Soze in that story. That's the weird thing.
You never know.
Yeah.
Let us know. MacGuffinPodcast.com. You can send us an email, tweet to us. You can let Laremy know at film.com. Presumably.
What I got wrong. I'm sure I got like 30 facts wrong in this.
We don't believe in facts on the MacGuffin.
That's good.
So
it's
you don't
all
really have
your
to worry
perspective.
about that.
It's all Inception world. Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
T-1000 can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Magneto can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Even Zod can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. It's tight. Don't even try to bite the side of style. Mr. Spock can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Wrath of Khan can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. The Borg can't stop me. I'm on fire tonight. Because I've got space game and it feels alright.